Three letters, or one letter, a slash, and two numbers, have been synonymous with high-performance Camaros since 1967. Of course, we're talking about the code Z28. And today, we're going to take a look at what a Z28 is and what makes those cars so special. To understand how the Camaro Z28 program got started, I think it's important to look back at what was going on in the mid-60s with this new pony car segment started by the compact Mustang. Ford came out with the Mustang, and immediately people were calling it a secretary's car, meaning it was cool, kind of cute, economical, but it wasn't really being perceived as a high-performance sports car. That is, until the Shelby team got a hold of them, and Ford tasked Shelby with racing these cars in SCCA road racing, and that was the birth of the GT350 Mustang. And that GT350 really helped sell street versions of those cars. So as Chevrolet was ramping up their production to compete with the Mustang by bringing out the new Camaro in 1967, they recognized that a high-performance version was mandatory. But Chevrolet needed to get back into racing to compete with the Mustang during a time when Chevrolet was officially out of racing. And to get back in the game, Chevy tasked engineer Vince Piggins to build a Camaro that would be capable of competing in the Trans Am road race series head-to-head with Shelby Mustangs. Now, the Camaro designers already had the Super Sport package for straight-line performance, but a road race version would need to have a different strategy. The heart of the package was a Trans Am rulebook friendly 302 cubic inch V8, a hybrid using the crank of a 283 and a bore size of a 327. This fit the 305 cubic inch limit of the Trans Am rulebook and also made for a lightweight, high RPM performer. This engine was designed completely for this car. The factory rating was 290 horsepower. The race cars, well, they were able to make over 400 horsepower with 7,000 plus RPM capability. It featured 11-to-1 compression, it had a race-tuned Holley carburetor, it had deep groove pulleys to keep from throwing the belts at high RPM, and they were all bolted to 4-speed Muncie transmissions with heavy-duty clutches. These cars also featured road race-tuned suspension systems with specially designed springs front and rear, a 12-bolt rear axle with monoleaf rear springs, but they added some traction bars to keep that monoleaf from ramping up under hard acceleration. The Z28 was also the only 67 Camaro to feature 15-inch wheels, and power front disc brakes were an option, but it was mandatory. You had to have them. During development, engineers called this the Special Performance Package, but that name changed to what we all know today. The regular production order code for the Camaro Super Sport was called Z27, but when this new package came out, they assigned it the next available number, or Z28. Production of the Z28 started off slow because they really didn't advertise these cars, so they only built 602 of them for 1967. But that jumped to 7,199 for 1968. But people really dug the car, and it caught on, and Chevrolet sold 20,302 of them for 1969. Of course, today the joke on the street is that there are far more Z28s out there today than Chevrolet ever built, thanks to people building clones and tributes of their own. All 1967 to 69 Z28s were hardtop cars, except one. There was one 1968 Z28 convertible built, and the story goes is that it was made for a GM executive, and today the car still exists. We got to see it at the Muscle Car and Corvette National Show a few years ago, and as of right now, it belongs to Dana Meekum from the Meekum Auction Company. But you know what they say, everything's for sale at Meekum. First generation Z28s were limited on options, so no air conditioning was available, There were also no automatic transmissions. 67 Z28s didn't even have Z badging on them, so the only way to ID one was with the bigger wheels and the stripes. A 302 fender badge appeared in early 1968, replaced by a Z28 emblem mid-year. But Chevy capitalized on the hot looks of the Z for 69 and put that big Z wherever they could, in the grille, on the fenders, center stage and the tailpan, and 302 engine call-out emblems were on the optional cowl induction hood. An underhood cowl induction system was a "you install it" option in 67 and 68, which added a plastic plenum to pull cool air in from the windshield base. And the parts for that option came in the trunk of the car. Spoilers were optional until 1969, when they were made standard. And the big news for 69 was the JL8 rear disc brake option. But overall, there were not many year-to-year changes to the Z recipe over the first generation of Camaro, and that was a good thing. First generation Z28s will always be revered for their great looks and excellent street performance, and the Trans Am tie-in, well, it makes them even more special. The Z28 name lives on thanks to the high impact of these early cars. Well, we hope you liked our little look back at the first generation of Camaro Z28. The Brothers Collection is full of muscle cars from AAR to Z28, and you're welcome to go through our website or YouTube channel to see videos on just about all of them. And we'll be back next time with another great car from the Brothers Collection right here on Muscle Car of the Week.